So I want to make this quick video because today there's this new, my cleaning lady was telling me, her and her daughter were telling me about this new crab place that opened up, or seafood place. So I went out there, checked it out, and they were like, yeah, you know, you can go to the bar, there's a lot of women there and stuff like that. And sure enough, there was some women there. A lot of, like, women that's just out, like, you know, just by themselves and shit. Actually, no, not a lot of women by themselves, but like groups of women. One woman was by herself, blah, blah, blah. So I'm there, I'm chilling, I'm eating, watching F1 racing, and they switched that shit to baseball. And everything was cool. Out of nowhere, she caught my eye until, like, she didn't catch my eye until, like, afterwards. But see, this chick, like, she's sitting at the bar. She's from one of the next towns over. So she comes over to, like, test the place out. And I was just like, damn, all right. I didn't even know she was there. She was a couple chairs down from me. And I'll get to the point. She's a couple chairs down from me. This was Sunday. Yeah, this is Monday now. 5:49 Monday. But this was Sunday night, right? Or last night. So I approach her. You know, I ask the bartender, you know, do that usual bartender shit. Hey, ask her what she's drinking. See if it's okay for me to get her another one. And then he got what she was drinking. But then, of course, she peeped that, hey, listen, you know, now I'm looking for signals of, can I approach, blah, blah, blah. And at that point, the bartender's telling me, and I was like, well, can you ask her if she, and I was like, you know what, no problem. I was like, don't worry about it. Let me go ahead and ask her. So I went ahead, and I just walked up to her and asked her. I was like, yo, listen, I could buy you a drink. Like, everything's cool. I see you by yourself. I mean, is it okay if I sit next to you? And she says yes. So we start having a conversation. Turns out she's 24. She's from the next town over. And, you know, going through the conversation, she tells me that, you know, dudes don't really, you know, they always just be like, hey, listen, can you just come over and chill? Like, they don't even do no dates. Like, they don't even plan no dates. And I'm like, what the hell? Now, this is weird to me. Or not weird, but this is, I'm making a video because of what happened even just last week. So that was Sunday. And I think it was like, man, Wednesday night? I think it was Wednesday night. So Sunday was the 28th. I think it was Wednesday night, the 24th. I had hollered at this chick from McDonald's and, you know, saw her through the drive-thru, you know, didn't really spit game per se, but I was like, yo, listen, you got a boyfriend? No? All right, cool. Like, take my number and give me a call. Hit me up. And she was 20. And this was like Wednesday the 24th, I think. Anyways, let's say Wednesday night. Wednesday night, she's over at the house, and she's like, you know, she's laid up on me. Like, we watching some movie on Netflix. I'm trying to go somewhere with it. She's not going on it. And I ain't trying to catch no charge. So it is what it is. Didn't get it, right? But she tells me, yeah, you know, a lot of dudes I talk to, I don't really go on dates like that. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? Like, these chicks, when they talk about toxic relationships and all this other shit, one, they accept it. Two, like, they are literally going out here, no dates, not even really messing with the, not even really getting to know or talk to the dude, and end up, you know, getting, like, ran through. And I'm like, holy shit. Because even the other chick, she was telling me about her situation. And then even the chick before at McDonald's, she was telling me about her situation. And I'm like, wow, you know, some of the stuff that they go through, right? Like, because, you know, me as who I am and, like, what I do, I don't really try to do that to women. Like, I'd rather just go get somebody else. Like, I'm not trying to do all this extra shit. I'm not trying to lie to you. Like, that doesn't make me a better person or a bad person, but I'm not trying to put that shit out there, and I'm not trying to receive that shit at all, right? Like, I just don't fuck with people like that, and I really don't try to be fucked with like that either. That's just me, right? And I mean, I hope other brothers do it too, and this is what I also taught my nephew. I told my nephew, I was like, yo, listen, man, be careful what you put out there because, you know, don't be treating these girls like this, so on and so forth, right? Not on some, like, yo, sit there and be a doormat and get disrespected, but more or less like, hey, don't put yourself in a position to where don't put yourself in a position to where you can get caught up because you lied or mistreated somebody. And not on some like, yo, be scared, be paranoid, but on some like, yo, karma comes back to you. That shit comes back to you. That may come back to you in another relationship, or it may come back to you in some way. And some people just do a lot of this shit to avoid, you know, feeling a certain way, like feeling rejected, feeling any type of pain, or feeling like they got, you know, the wool pulled over their eyes or something like that. Like they do all this stuff just so they don't have to feel like they are on the bad side of things, or they got the what's it called, the shit end of the stick there, right? So I'm listening to, you know, back to the point here. A lot of these women really don't, and I've heard this before, so it's not like this is new to me, but like you hear it, you see some of the chicks, like they're not ugly or anything like that. Like I like my chicks a little bit chubbier, I like a little weight on them and everything else like that. So most people would, you know, rate them with at least, you know, -2 points based off of my scale. I won't call none of the chicks that I go after dimes, like by no means. I don't really go after dimes or bad bitches on a regular basis. It's just not the chicks I want to be around, and I'm not going to look good around them either, if you ask me. And that's not like my self-esteem or anything like that. Well, it used to be, but it's not my self-esteem, especially nowadays. It's just I don't want that fucking headache. I don't want to be with no bad bitch. I don't want to be with no bitch that wants to be maintained and all this other stuff. Like, that's just not the fucking life I want to live. I don't want to fucking get your nails done every 2 fucking seconds. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not with that shit. So when I see, you know, like when I go after some of these chicks, you know, they're not ugly, but they're not, you know what I mean? They're cute, but they're not ugly. And I'm like, you just like, you really get this type of like treatment out here? This is the life you live in? Like, this is how it's going? And that shit is the wildest stuff to me. I mean, call me naive or something like that, but that's what's happening out here. These chicks are getting like Netflixed and chilled like quick, especially in their 20s. They're getting Netflixed and chilled left and right. It's not even funny how these dudes is treating them. And there's a reason why, like, you know, these chicks be going off, right? And I'm not putting this on the dudes. Everybody has their, like, you know, their stake in. I'm not putting this all on the dudes. Everybody has their stake in this. But Jesus Christ, this is what they accept out here. And then they would expect you to actually do better for them. This fucking crab place I went to, yo, it was like $100 for the damn low country, I think it's like the low country boil or whatever is what they call it. But you know, it's about $100 for that. But it came with lobster tail and stuff like that. And they had a bigger one. And one thing I didn't like about the menu, which is just like some fucking, like they were pandering in the fucking menu. The fucking King's Feast was like $100. And then the Queen's Feast was like a little bit more than that. And then they had one after that. And I'm like, so when has the king been less than the queen? But, you know, you just pick up on shit like that. Right? It's just like, are you serious? Like, they pandering on the fucking list? The Queen's Feast is smaller than the King's Feast? I think it was like the difference of like a fucking ½ pound of shrimp. But I was just like, fucking matriarchal mother. But when you see this shit in real life and when you start to do the pattern recognition, you start to like look at this shit and be like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Anyways. But yeah, I had a I saw that and I was just like, yeah, this is some wild shit. And then just even listening to the woman is like, are you just letting all these dudes and it's not like it was a lot or anything that I know of, but she was just saying it and I'm like, man, these chicks is really out here hurting because they talk about, and this is why, and to make it to where this stuff really means something in terms of the conversation I'm having with y'all over this video, this is why they have these crazy, or what seems to be crazy, what do they call that shit? Requirements, standards later on. Because a lot of these chicks be having no standards. None whatsoever. Starting out. Like, that shit is wild to me. How much, like, a lot of these chicks just don't, they have really low standards when they're young. Which is, you know, one of the things that people talk about. Yeah, you want this young girl because she comes with less requirements and all this other stuff. And it's true. It's a lot easier to get with a younger chick. You deal with her, you take her out, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, you try to make it to where you have good intentions to her for some people. But to be very honest, you could just sit there, like, you stay decent looking. You could just sit there, keep on bagging 20-plus-year-olds, man. And I'm like, this is wild. But anyways, just wanted to put that out there. Nothing against the women, just something I noticed. And even if those women heard this, I'm sure they would, like, fucking not like it. But at the same time, it's just, this is what's happening, man. But this is why a lot of these women get in their 30s and have these crazy requirements in terms of, you know, I need a man that can do this. I need a man that, and then they get even crazier as they get older because it gets even worse. I need a man that will cook and clean, that will help me take care of the kids, blah, blah, blah. While I go out there and work, so on and so forth. And it's just like a lot of these chicks is getting red-pilled by the environment. And, you know, just like everybody really with this environment. But a lot of these chicks are getting this shit and they're not really getting much out of these things, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I have a problem with the last thing I just said, getting much out of these things. Anyways, with that being said, peace as always. Love you all. Be safe.